Okay, so there was something I had just seen, and it was talking about stuff I had been talking about. And so I wanted to come on and talk about it. And this keeps happening over and over. Just like when I was talking about this weird electrical thing, and I started seeing about the concerns with the water again, and deciding to smoke a cigarette, and because I smoked a couple of puffs this morning. It's so hard to even take a real. The filters are weird. They're really thick and heavy. They're huge, and then you have to pull. So I don't know. It's very hard, and it really makes me feel lightheaded. But I took a couple more puffs this morning, and I'm telling you, there is a change when I do, which is makes me so, more sure of that kind of thing. But after I have been talking about that, like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago when I started talking about it, a couple days later, I saw somebody share a video of that doctor who apparently is out. He was talking about some stuff is happening, and he was telling everybody to get nicotine patches and nicotine gum and stuff like that. And so I don't know if this is an old video. It seemed more like it was more newer, that so anyways, that whole thing hasn't gone away. I think we still have that. I think we just have so many different poisons, that we're trying to overcome. I guess so much. But there was a couple of things that I had seen on TikTok that I want to talk about. I can barely keep my eyes open. It's like 10:30 in the morning, but I've been up since 1:30. So it's almost 12 hours already. I think 9 hours I've been up already. I probably will lay down or something, just shut my eyes for a while. They really hurt. But so what I had seen, so when I had left off what I was talking about, my throat is so dry. When I was talking earlier, I was saying about, this whole confusion kind of over how things are going to go down. Like, is this thing that we're about to have happen the big thing, the big event thing, where I kept saying, I don't think this is the big event. It's too soon. It doesn't make sense to me. And then I had said before about Corey Good and Daniel Scranton, also, where I had heard the last time I had heard either of them talk was probably 2020. But when I had heard them both say, like, around 2027 is when this big event thing is supposed to go down. And so then this thing, so one of these videos was Nostradamus has predictions for 2023. And so he was saying, I only heard this one part. I guess you could probably look them up. But this person was sharing it. It seems like it's a video. And I keep seeing Nostradamus stuff on YouTube. So there must be a lot of people looking up. But in 2023 in America, there's going to be a huge civil war. 100,000 people or more are going to be killed. It's going to be super bloody and it's going to be red against blue. And, you can see that building. God, my eyes hurt. It's really hard when that light too. You can see the tensions building because the people who are very enveloped into politics and government, and they are so divided. As you wake up, you start seeing that stuff is bullshit. Like, you let go of it, but some people, they get stuck, and they don't wake up past that. They just stay kind of stuck in trauma or something, whatever it is they're looking for, trying to get, whatever motivates them to divide to this degree and to really seriously think it's this other person's fault. And I just saw right before I was going to do this, I thumbed through a couple more to see if there was any more things that were being said or whatever. And this one for Planned Parenthood popped up, and Sigourney Weaver was, I didn't listen to it, but I just went in and reported it, as offensive or something like that. I don't remember what the thing was I chose, but that's what they keep doing to all of us, censoring us and saying all of this inaccurate stuff. So, I was like, well, you're offensive. So, but that's the kind of stuff that really feeds these people. Like, it's crazy as it may be, that topic about government control over fetal life is very, very important to some of these people. It's just so bizarre because, if they knew the whole thing, but since they don't look into anything, if they knew the whole thing, that you don't go around saying you're supporting BLM, but then you're going to support Planned Parenthood, who pushes for the extermination of darker people. I mean, that's what they're put up into those communities for. I think the only reason that they started putting them up into more suburban areas is because then they started pushing young girls getting out of school. Like, you need to go to college, you need to go to college. It became such a huge push. It became such a huge push on girls. Before it was more for men, but then they started pushing really hard on girls. If you want to be a success out there in the world, you need to not think about raising kids and not having babies, all sorts of stuff like that. And, just seeing, having kids and stuff can be important for someone's growth. I'm noticing some different things with different people and stuff and what people are going through. And, having kids is a challenge, but it challenges you to have to grow. Even if all of them grow up and think that you failed them, yourself, that you grew from that experience. Oh, and another thing too is I was watching, this was a pretty good, I think it was a Lifetime movie. It has some people in it that I, knew of, that I didn't think of them as, one of them was like, what is that girl's name? It's a weird kind of name. It seems like Blasmith or something, I think is her last name. But it had a few people. Anyways, I recognized them from other movies, but not typical Lifetime movies, but it was really good. And the thing I liked about it was because after I had been talking about that generational learning, it was showing that in the movie so much. It was crazy. It was, but that's what they do, is they bring me stuff to show me, to further my education. And so showing me how that plays out and stuff. So anyways, so he was saying in 2023 that stuff's going to go down in America. It's going to be several years of all this fighting and battling. And that goes in alignment with what a lot of other people have said. There's still going to be a change in the energy. But see, that goes back into alignment to me, as this disclosure stuff is going to wake people up. But something is going to happen. There's going to be something that's going to happen that is going to be outrageous, that is going to turn us in the other direction, and it could be, it's just some kind of event that's going to get everybody's attention, but I'm not sure what it is. And so that, I've thought the whole time, because the other half the people haven't even woke up yet. Like, how can we have this huge event when these people haven't even woke up? They don't even know the truth. So are they even making decisions for themselves? So, to me, they still get an opportunity to wake up. And, we're going through all this stuff, but their information is so manipulated. And I think that's part of their having to see for themselves in their healing process, because there's so much stuff. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I can't even believe There's so much of this stuff coming out, and so much of this stuff, the absurdity, and it's just so mental. But so to me, there had to be some sort of event to wake everybody up, and then they have to go through all this healing. And so I don't know. Nostradamus is saying 2023 we're going to go into the civil war, and there's going to be tons of people that are going to die. And is that going to be the thing that shifts us in the other direction? I don't know. I don't even know if he's accurate. I know he's been accurate on a lot of other stuff, but I don't know. And it is by translation too, and so people who translate some of that stuff can obviously lean it how they want it to be. So to me, I hear over and over and over from different predictors, 2023 is going to be really intense, which, is like making me think, okay, this is going to drag on longer for sure, and that, I don't know. It is just because like if we think about how, if we look at it from a different perspective, like if we look at it from, okay, so we have two different kind of forces, and he was talking something too about the bringing something to the light, but there was another guy too, another predictor that I had seen, and this guy was off Gaia channel, and I don't know who he is. People who watch a lot of them might know who he is, but he is bald-headed. I don't remember if he had hair on his face, but he reminded me of Daniel Scranton. He shuts his eyes when he's channeling, and he kind of talked like Daniel Scranton. But he said 2027 is when the big event is going to happen. That we're leading up to that, and all of these events are to get us prepared, to heal, and to all of this, the stuff that is going on is in preparation. And I know it's all about healing and raising your vibration. And so that was another confirmation on the 2027 thing, which then, it brings you back to, so it's less likely that the firmament is going to bust open here in the next week or something. That would be more of what's going to go on in 2027, more of the cataclysm that's ahead that they're trying to hide from us. And I think that they kind of know when it's going to be. Because if the people who are channeling these certain aliens, and Corey Good, he had interactions with them in the physical. So he, and they're the ones who told him like 2027, and that everything was about us having to heal and become, and it's a different perspective on living. It's reprioritizing. It's realizing your role and stuff. Like, it's a whole different way of thinking. And, there's tons of us who came in who have that in our, it's like imprinted into what we're here for. It's like an imprint. And then, so we know it. And if we know it, it's so that we can help other people know it. And so anyways, that's why, I know that's why I talk about this stuff all the time, is to help other people to be able to understand, and to know, and to feel secure, and understand this isn't the end. Even if you leave right now, even if you have family members or somebody leaves, that's not the end. And so anyways, that confirmation to me put the big event out further, which, so if we go back to that, we have these two opposing forces, because I think that guy was the one who said that all this is to bring, is the light to be coming in to show us the dark, so the dark can come out. So it's the same way everybody keeps saying it, it's the light is exposing the dark, and that's what we're watching, is the dark be exposed, where it's been able to be hidden before. And all the light coming in and questioning it is bringing it to the surface. And there's no stopping that, and it is obviously, it's a slow progression, like the storm starts here and ends way over here. It has to go through the river and run its course. So we're in the process of it. And I mean, I know I definitely wanted it to be like, boom, hurry up. But and I don't know, it could completely keep going super, super slow like this in each person's family, and just trauma and drama and horrible shit. And it just keep dragging and dragging. And that can be, that could be going for a couple years, and it's that, you got to remember that 40 years in the desert or whatever, or 400 years in the desert. You've got to stay faithful to your inner knowing, whatever your inner knowing is. You've got to trust your inner knowing and stay faithful. And so then, to me, is so how I kind of see it after I listened to those, how I was seeing it play out, it was making me think back again to where I think is going to be, something is going to change. We know the money thing is going to change. Like, there's all sorts of shit going on with the money thing. I saw this weird video too this other day, or yesterday, I think. But it was the other day, this guy went and he got $10,000 out, which I don't know. I guess if you have a shit ton of money in your bank, you get to take more out. Because he got his out in $100 bills. And maybe it was $1,000 bills. Yeah, it must have been $1,000 bills out of an ATM. Because everybody's like, I thought you can only get 300 or 400. So I don't know. Apparently some people can get more, because he said he gets huge amounts of money out all the time. And so he said the weird thing so he got all this whole thing $100 bills, but they were all in succession. Like, they just came off the printer. And so they were all in numerical order. But why it's so strange is because it was from 2017. So like almost 5 years, somehow these bills have stayed together. Have never been separated. They've stayed in the same stack. So he was really weirded out. He was asking people, does anybody know, like, how this could even be possible? And I've heard, a lot of people are noticing weird things with the banks and stuff. And weirdly enough, another one, after I had just said about the banks and the whole involvement in the scams. Well, my daughter just told me that my granddaughter is super depressed because she just got scammed. The scams are over the top. Like, you can't answer anything. You can't buy anything, nothing. You have to stay or they're just going to take all your money out of your account. It's kind of like what the cabal or whatever is trying to do to stay afloat. So they're just kind of like, oh, how can we do this? So they're just scamming people left and right. But this was a banking person, and she said you cannot click on any kind of ad and go in and make a purchase, because she said they're scam ads. And I experienced that. I don't know if I talked about that on here, where I thought I was buying a shed, and they sent me a little penguin. Penguin. I'm expecting this delivery, I'm watching for my delivery all day. And then it says, your delivery's been delivered. I'm like, what? Where's the box? Like, it should be a fucking big. It's like a shed. And so I go out to my mailbox. It's this little tiny bag with a little tiny penguin. And then I did start getting all sorts of stuff going on in my account. And she said, so what they do is that they go, because it's a dummy thing, it's not real, and then you don't have any rights. The bank is not going to be on your side. This is coming from somebody who works at the bank. So the bank's not going to be on your side because you gave them your bank account information. And then they're going to start out doing little purchases, and then they're going to just take all your money or whatever. So that was a bank person saying that. I still don't know about that person with their transfer, but I've seen so many videos of people getting scammed, and all sorts of shit is going on with money stuff. But that's going to be prevalent as this whole system falls apart. And another thing that keeps happening is people are going and buying, like, somebody the other day on Thanksgiving was opening up all their green beans, and there was no green beans in their green beans. They had a couple of cans that had a couple at the very bottom, but it was mostly liquid. And there's a whole bunch of people putting videos out about that like, they're opening their cereal and it's full of worms and all sorts of gross stuff. And they're saying they're giving us the last, the bottom of the barrel, because there's no movement. And besides this stuff with the truckers and stuff, now the railway and the absurdity, whatever they were asking for, and then what Joe and them came back and said they were going to give them was so ridiculous. Like, it's the absurdity. It's the absurdity is meant to outrage the people, to wake people up. And so, we have all these things going on. And then, we're still, it's not off the table yet with the being nuked or any of this stuff. A big earthquake, anything can go down. There's something, I still say, something big is going to go down to really get people's attention. And then there's going to be anger. And so, Nostradamus could have seen that anger and division as being civil war, because it could, it'd be like civil war of people against the government. So, however it's interpreted could be, something that they did not see coming. They may not understand whatever his thing is, because I think some of his stuff was more like told to him. I don't know if his stuff was in visions. It seems like it was told to him in those, like, because they talk in a certain way and they show you things so you something will make sense to you. So they'll try and show you things in your own language that will be understanding to you. It's really hard to explain how they communicate. And I think probably everybody communicates different. But I just know that there's a lot of people, even spiritual people, who don't realize you're under constant communication. You just got to pay attention. So anyways, I am going to take it kind of as that. So whatever still is going to go down, which I am still hoping this month, and it can be the collapse. And there's already people who are in the red now on their houses or whatever. Like, they can't sell them. The banks can, they're setting all this up, and they're setting everything up to, take everything away from us, and then, move us into camps and create total dependence, so that we are complete lab rats. It's not going to go that far, but obviously it's going to keep going for a while. So to me, whatever, there's going to be a shift. There's definitely going to be a shift. A shift is coming that's going to take us in the other direction. But that doesn't mean everything's going to be fixed right off the bat. That's going to just be starting some trauma. Like, I just saw a guy doing a video who had put it together, that the protocol, which I talked about in the hospital, that they had a certain protocol that they had to follow. There was nothing you could do. And the people who followed it at some point knew they were murdering. And that is where, that's where we have some ethical issues where people are going to go on trial about. So, I would not be working so many jobs. I'd be trying to figure out how to be able to stay home and stay out of the chaos, because the chaos is going to keep going. So obviously we're going to have a lot of bloodshed coming, and it is going to be, it will be some of it, people wanting to go out, and then the mass shooter comes in and takes them out and stuff like that. Like, this stuff is going to keep going. That's why, part of it is you just have to prioritize what's important to you in life. Do you need to go see that game, or is it more important for you to just stay home and, ride the storm out? A lot of people want to go out and, force whatever it is that they're trying to do. And that could be, if that's their guidance, but it also can be their guidance because that's the lesson that they're coming in to learn. So, it can look like somebody's just out having a good old time, but, there's going to be consequences to things that people do, and things, consequences are your lessons. So, I don't know, but to me, it seems like that there is going to be some sort of event that is going to turn us the other direction. People are going to be outraged and mad. People are going to be sick. There's going to be more people dying. It's going to be, chaos as it turns directions. And then we got, people got to do healing. People have to take their shit serious. People have to really take serious how we're going to change the world, because the world is going to be falling apart underneath our feet, and we can't fall apart with it. We have to, figure out what we're going to do. And if it comes down to people having to just go out, I know people are already starting to go out and build communal living and stuff like that, because they're going to be taking away more jobs. They're going to make the housing more expensive. The whole thing is to destroy us. So they're actively doing that and actively murdering and the whole thing. So anyways, people are going to have to possibly, start just moving in together, a lot of people in small houses or something, but it's not going to be forever. That's the thing. It's not going to be forever. And in 2027, so if that is a more accurate date, see, then there's years for people to get to heal and raise their vibration to prepare for this cataclysmic event that's going to come. And because I've always kind of seen it as, in our sense, in our idea of death, that would be what would happen, but our consciousness would move with that energy into creation of another thing. And so to me, it's just going to be like a transition, but it's going to be something like we've never experienced. Like we're going to be doing something different as energy that hasn't been done before. So, I think it's going to be, that's why I've said all along, to me, everybody would be getting the opportunity to heal. That's what turned me off of Christianity, one of the biggest things. Because when they would say stuff about, these little kids, like over in these other countries or something, they are suffering, that they're going to go to hell now because they didn't know Jesus. And I kept being like, yeah, but that's not a loving God. That is not, and I was like, that's not what I believe. I don't believe that would be how it would work. God would just not make himself known, but then punish you for not knowing him. And so anyways, that is to me why stuff has to be known. And, these people have to see the truth. They're making decisions based on lies right now. And the hard part that they're going to have to heal is when it flips over and they see the truth, that how they have to look at themselves, like how they were tricked. That's like the ego work. So anyways, I really wanted to share that, because I was like, it is super confusing and it is super tense to be like, man, is this going to be, is this going to be the sky opening? No, that if that is what is going to go down in 2027, I don't know still. I mean, it could be this thing is going to bust through the sun or something, or the other side's going to come into charge, and people are going to get mad and angry about that, and people are going to get mad and angry about the medical stuff coming out. And that one guy who was talking about the protocol, he said that they brought him into the hospital to kill him, and they killed like 90,000 people or something doing it. So, there's a lot of people who lost somebody during that. So there's going to be a lot of anger to all these different manufactured illnesses. People are going to be very upset, very angry. And so, that is going to be a big part of the whole awakening for a lot of people, because it's going to be the trauma. And it is not going to be the time to say, well, we tried to tell you, we told you, you wouldn't listen. Like they can't hear. Their brains are not there. And when it starts going down and their brains start opening and receiving this information, it's going to be, going to be shorting out. There's going to be people who are going to be killing people and shit and fighting and angry. And so anyways, but I did feel like that was more good news, that the event is still where these other psychic people and stuff are saying, yeah, it's not going to be yet. It's going to be in a couple more years, and there has to be more healing. So anyways, for anybody who is really stressing, so there will continue to be more people dying, but it will be in certain situations like of their own making, or certain just weird situations like, well, I is definitely, when these weird things happen, then you gotta be thinking like, this is destined. This was supposed to happen that way. There's no stopping certain things, You can't stop an airplane flying out of the sky and dropping on your house, you know what I mean? So there's going to be all sorts of just weird stuff like that keep happening to people. There's going to be, a lot of people who haven't taken care of themselves and going through medical tyranny and dying. And there's going to be, there's so many people with sick kids and so much sickness in people's families. Like, oh man, there's so much going on with people. So all that is going to keep happening. And, every death in every family is trauma for people to get over. So, that's going to continue, and continue having people's emotions raw. And one thing too I've seen, which confirmed to me also, where I said about the big cities, 2 different women in Seattle talking about crazy, creepy things that are happening there. Like it's unsafe in the cities already. Whether or not people recognize it or not, it's unsafe to go to fucking Walmart. A woman without a bodyguard, a child, forget about it. You better keep them home. It's a dangerous place already. And in the cities is very dangerous. So that is already being shown to people. And, it's whether they're listening or recognizing or taking responsibility for going to a safer location. And right now, we're kind of at a problem because what they're doing with the housing shortage. So it's kind of like, you have to stay put and stay safe until something else breaks loose. It's like this shifting. It really is like these moves on a board of a game. And, this energy back and forth. And so but once certain things happen, the energy shift, for a lot of us, it's going to feel like a huge relief. For people who don't understand, they're going to go through the hardest parts then. But also the money thing, it's going to be really hard on some people because they're going to lose a lot. But for people who are just looking forward to not having debt and being able to be like, oh my gosh, now I can go out and get a camper, and now I can start doing my work on my house. It's going to be like a blessing to me to have all of that debt gone, especially, if you've been planning for this to happen. And then, you're already taking care of yourself with the medical then, because they're going already into shortages of things. So that's going to, kill some people right there. But that is partly to show us the dependence of, it's not productive to be dependent on somebody for your health. You have to be independent. That's something you got to take care of for yourself. And so the job thing, if you've started trying to figure out, other ways to survive and barter and trade kind of thing, because there's going to be huge shifts about that kind of stuff, huge shifts about all the different products that we're getting as these different places collapse. CPS is already going down. Like they've got lawsuits, like all these different things are all falling apart at once. So at one side, goes into power, even though there's all this chaos, it's still going to be better for a lot of us, but it may not be safe. Like I had said, that one lady's son said, at whatever point, that if you're not on, if you're blue and they're red, they're just going to, not even question, you either are with them or against them as far as they're concerned. And, there's a lot of these extremists out there who are preparing for this. So, I hope that it's not going to just go into some kind of crazy civil war, but that's up to the people. And all we can do is keep trying to spread the word and get people to understand what's going on, and try and help people to relax and calm down and figure out how to deal with their stuff. But anyways, you know, once that goes down and all of that other healing and stuff starts, you know, I think it's going to be a lot better for, you know, a huge group of us. But it's still going to be, you know, some trauma. But anyways, you know, I still think that this giant cataclysm or the solar event or whatever, but you know, if we're having this much sky stuff and all of this stuff going on already, then, you know, that's going to keep going. And I don't know at what point will the people in the sky and stuff, I mean, it's like slowly they keep interacting with people, like, but of course people think they're crazy when people talk about it, but people like are having all sorts of crazy stuff happen. So, you know, is it going to just continue being this slow roll into this new age, you know, and all this opportunity to heal and become, you know, a better version of yourself, really? So anyways, I just wanted to share those things, because like I said, you know, whenever they'll tell me something or show me something, then they'll keep bringing me more information and more information. And see, right now, I swear to God, I only did like 4 puffs off of that. It made me so dizzy. And oh, and there's a new they got a new fentanyl now. There is a Narcan won't work or anything, so it's like the other stuff wasn't killing people fast enough, so they made a new one, and it is instant. So, you know, in places where weed is illegal, and it could still even be in places where it's legal. Like I said before, like it's hard to trust anything at this point, but they're lacing it on everything. I'm sure we're going to start finding it, you know, laced on candy bars at the grocery store. Like already they were having, like, you can't pick up money off the ground. Don't pick up off anything off the ground. You got to be careful touching your doorknobs. You know, cities are dangerous place for that kind of stuff, you know. But so that also is another thing. You know, they're going to kill a lot of people with that. So there's going to continue being a lot of people dying for a lot of different reasons. That's for sure. But anyways, you know, everything that they show me and tell me, then they keep bringing me more information. So, you know, anyways, you know, you guys have been seeing more stuff and hearing more stuff that people are saying. Tell me in the comments, because, you know, I just see the stuff that comes to me. You know, I don't go out and listen to what other people say. I listen to what that guy was saying, because it sounded like he was saying stuff, you know, that I was already saying. So I was kind of seeing it as confirmation. But I don't go out and just search for these people, because it interferes with my own communication. And I have to stay on mine and not start thinking about other people's. But sometimes I'll listen to people's TikTok things, and just a regular person, and they'll be talking about something, and then they'll start telling me something about that. So, you know, I like to listen to different people's stuff, because it does give you a lot of insights. But I don't go out and listen to a lot of other predictors or anything about any of this stuff, because it is, you know, everybody has their own guidance and their own information and all of that. So I don't know. Anyways, any stuff that you guys have heard about that, so just tell me, because that was a long old way of me saying I haven't been going out and looking. Like, I had no idea who that guy was off Gaia channel. He could be really well known. I don't have any idea. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.